Hello and welcome to the Philippines. A little bit about driving in the Philippines. New rules over here, depending on where you're from, and oftentimes no rules. A lot of the people on the road, I don't know what percentage it is, have no license, no training. They might not have any even registration for their vehicle. They're constantly being confiscated by police. I am in Cebu City. I'm actually in Mandaue City right now. I'm on Hernan Cortez Street Avenue, and if you'd follow this all the way down, it'd take you right down near SM Mall in Cebu City. And I'm going to take a right up here. There's a Metro grocery store, which is one of the grocery store chains here in the Philippines. On my right, just up the street on the left, is a Harley Davidson's dealership. I think Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki are the big names here, and most motorbikes are 100, 110, 125, 150 cc. Occasionally you'll see a 250 cc, but very seldom you see much bigger than that. There is a Harley club here, and occasionally you'll see some of those riding around. I've seen a big Triumph, I've seen a big Honda, but you see very few big bikes here. I am headed back to the uptown area of Cebu City, up around Fuente Osmeña Circle, and towards the end of this video I'll show you a real close call, and it's a case where I need to learn to drive the way they drive, what their expectations are, and I'll explain that to you as we get into Fuente Osmeña, big traffic circle. Over the last 2 years, with virtually no transportation for a year and a half pretty much, many people who could afford it went out and bought bicycles, so you see a lot more bicycles on the road, and you see a little more road rage than you used to. My observation, when I first came here, you really notice how many people are honking their horns, and usually it's not in an angry type fashion. It's just like, I'm coming up beside you, look out, or you're a taxi honking at you, hey, do you need a taxi, or honking at their friend, just letting people know, alerting people near them that they're passing, they're going to turn, whatever. So don't get upset too much by those types of things. I think that condo one that you just saw on the right, that's Midpoint Condominiums. Now there are almost no stop signs and very few traffic signals in Cebu City, Mandaue City area, and probably around many towns and cities in the Philippines. It's an evolving situation. We are getting more and more signals, but coming up to a very busy intersection, very busy, and there's no signals, there's no stop signs. People just make it work, and people will stop from one direction. Once you stick, if we were to stop, people would start sticking their nose out, and it's kind of what happened here. It's just, okay, you go, now we're gonna go. And I had a motorbike right beside me. He'll come up, I think you'll see him shortly. He was crowding me a little more than I was comfortable with, so I really slowed down to let him go around me. I did not want to go into that corner. And there's a lot of people, 110 million people in a very small nation, the Philippines. The Philippines is about the size of Arizona, or about the size of Nevada. Italy is a little bit larger, and we've got 110 million people. A lot of those people have motorbikes and or cars. It became easy to buy cars quite a number of years ago, very low down payments. If you had a job, you could buy a car. So there's a lot more motorbikes and cars on the road with that real easy credit. Got Gaisano Country Mall just to the right there, and I think it's Cebu University to the left up here. And as we go up here, we're going to pass big IT park, which I've done videos about on the right, and I've got over 1,000 videos up. A lot of real estate videos, what a condos rent for, what they look like, how are they furnished, cost of living videos, travel videos. So be sure to check those out as well. I try to provide useful information, so if you find that useful, appreciate the thumbs up and subscribe. I know many of you watch, but you haven't subscribed yet, so that helps with the algorithms, helps promote the channel. And I do have a couple ways if anybody wants to support the channel. I've got a Patreon account, patreon.com/Amazing Philippines. I've got a buy me a coffee. You can buy me one coffee, it's about $5, or you can buy me 10 coffees times $5, whatever, or 2 or 3 or 4. I've got a PayPal account. I really appreciate it does cost to have these cameras and the software. Anyway, driving here, expect the unexpected. People will be in the right-hand lane parked, and they will make a U-turn across a couple lanes or across 4 lanes like this. And they expect, they just start making the turn, and they kind of expect people to stop for them. People coming off the side streets, like I said, there are no stop signs, and even at traffic signals, where I think in the U.S. it's often right lane permitted after stop type thing, a lot of cities. Well, here, right lane is permitted, but you're supposed to yield to the oncoming traffic many times at the traffic signals. But people don't really signal. They don't really they don't really stop, and they don't yield. They just pull out and try to merge in. Where there are red lights, well, yellow light means hurry up, kind of here, as it does in many countries. Hurry up and get through that yellow light. And once you get a green light, assume that there's going to be more people coming through that red light from the other direction. It happens all the time. And there's very little traffic police like we're used to in the USA cities and highways, with the highway patrol and the city traffic police. Very, very rare to see a traffic vehicle out pulling anybody over. Now they do, Cebu City has hired a couple hundred more traffic enforcers, I guess they call them. They might be standing out in an intersection directing traffic. They've got those guys standing on sides of more streets, and they're pulling people over, checking their registration license, all this sort of thing. But they very rarely, although on occasion they do, go to an intersection and start stopping people who are not obeying traffic laws. I saw a couple articles recently about Bohol. The LTO, Land Transportation Office, set up in the Visayas, set up many checkpoints over on Bohol Island, I guess, and they start issuing, it's pretty much after you get out of the big cities. Very few people wear helmets. Probably even more of the vehicles are not registered. More of the people do not have licenses, all that sort of thing. So they set up a bunch of checkpoints, I believe, and they issued a lot of citations. There was a lot of anger by those people and their families, of course, having to pay, getting their vehicles confiscated, having to pay fines when they're, many of these people have very little money even just to eat on and survive on, especially after the last 2 years of economic lockdowns here. So it's an evolving situation. Up in Manila, they're building more freeways and such. Here in Cebu City, they are planning a much delayed BRT, bus rapid transit system, and they may be somebody's talking about a subway system, trying to push that, trying to cancel the bus system. Subway system would be, a decade or more off putting something underground. There is talk about putting some sort of a rail above ground, because there isn't much room to expand on the ground. There was very little planning apparently as the city expanded very rapidly. So that's coming. I've come across some guys drilling a number of places, taking core samples of the earth. They tell me it's possibly for the upper, what do you call that, tram? I have seen lots of changes in the 6 years, 3 trips, 6 years that I've been here in the Philippines. New condos, there's new casino that just opened out in South Road Properties, and new malls, and just lots of changes. There's a long ways to go. I've seen the infrastructure changing. I've seen fiber going into more places. Some of these lines you see above the streets, some of that stuff going underground. New drainage systems. Lot to do yet. Lot to do when the city has been left to deteriorate for so many years, basically, to grow without building, keeping up the infrastructure needs. The rivers, attempts to clean the rivers. And some cities, in fact, they're trying to do that in Manila. They're trying to use some of the rivers like they do in Thailand and Vietnam, other countries, trying to clean up some of those rivers and use them a little bit with river taxi type system. And I had read there were a couple attempts to do that out on the sea, to take people up and down, get them off the road and take them on a ferry up and down 50 kilometers or so, drop people off, pick people up, bring them up and down the coast here. Not sure what stage that's in presently. The new third bridge, the CCLEX, I think it's Cordova-Cebu Link Expressway, opened last month, and that is operational now, so that should take some of the traffic. So I'm turning off of Gerardo Avenue. I'm turning onto what's often called Mango Avenue, or General Maxilome Avenue is the official term, I believe. And we're headed back down towards Mango Square. Mango Square used to be a big entertainment area, bars and such. And one or more reasons I'd understood the mayor's didn't like the reputation it was getting. It was a big pickup place and big crowds, especially on weekends. And so pretty much all the bars, just one disco that recently opened up there, but pretty much all the bars are not there. That were there are not there. And there's a bar down, in fact, take a left here. You can't take a left, but if you take a left right on that corner to the left, there's the Howling Dog Bar. And that's another thing. There are many areas where you cannot take a left-hand turn, not allowed, and or there's no left turn. So if people are allowed to turn, that backs up that one lane when you only have 2 lanes here. And so anyway, that tall building ahead of us, that is Horizon 101, just pretty much across from the Mango Square, just down the street a bit. This is a Sunday. This is a Sunday, so you don't have very much traffic. One of the reasons I took my motorbike out today was that I do not like driving in heavy traffic. Just crazy here, because don't make any sudden moves left or right, because they will pass you on the left or right in given time. And just to the right here is what would be called Mango Square. Used to be a lot of bars there. And we're coming up to, used to be able to turn left on Ramos Street up here. You even see the turn signal there, and they got signs here, no left turn allowed. So I think because it would back up traffic. This is the huge Fuente Osmeña Circle, big traffic circle. Here's where I need to learn to drive like they do. Everybody, pretty much, unless they're going to exit on the next street, they move to the inner lane or the inner 2 lanes. And you can see where I'm at. See, this guy, Grab driver, just about clipped my front end there. And I had that happen one other place too. But see how this taxi going directly into the far left lane, even though, and then he'll have to move all the way back over when he exits off. And so I was in the wrong lane, even though I thought I was in the right lane. See, now he's going to cross all those lanes and exit there. So I just need to understand how they think, how they drive, because 2 times I've had that close call happen on that circle. And made sense to me, but that's not the way they drive here. So live and hopefully live and learn. A friend of mine has a motorbike. He wants to sell it. I think he may have sold it already. I think I saw it at the 301 bar the other day and I didn't see him there. But he said, I'm a danger to myself. I'm a danger to myself. And going down, this is Ramos Street, where the 301 Ramos bar is located, just to the left there, I believe. Have a nice menu. I got a band many nights, worth checking out. Friendly girls in there, cold beer, and you have Velez Hospital up here. Now that was the case. The guy started turning in front of me, assuming I was going to wait for him, and I thought he was going to wait for me, so I stopped a little bit short. Anyway, just a little bit about driving here. It is can be dangerous, can be very dangerous, and rules are different. Sometimes there's no rules, so it depends upon what level of risk you're willing to take. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy. See you next time.